So I'm going to apply it how I usually apply it, with the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush, and as you can see I've got a lot of like breakouts and like they've turned into like scalps, so we'll see how it does. It comes out very, very liquidy. I have no idea how much I'm meant to use, to be honest with you. So I read a lot of reviews that said that it was really hard to move about your skin, but I'm really not finding that problem. It's definitely not covering like my spots or anything, and it's having a bit of a hard time covering my redness, but I have quite red cheeks anyway, so that's me applied a layer, and I'm just going to go back and apply some more to my spots. So I think this foundation is quite buildable, but it's not the best coverage. So I'd say it's probably a light to medium coverage, definitely not more ranging on the light side. It definitely does give your skin a little bit of radiance, but it's still a bit more matte than I would have like expected it for like an illuminating foundation. But yes, I'll just do the rest of my makeup and come back to you. I've been wearing it for about half an hour now, and I'm really liking the whole look of it. I've put on some concealer and the rest of my makeup, but I put on cream blush because, you know, and I don't put powder on normally, so I just did my makeup as I would normally. And yeah, I'll see how it fares without powder. Over the next 4 days I'll try it with like different ways to apply it, but I actually really like this way that I applied it, and it does dry pretty easily into your skin, so you do have to work with it pretty fast, but it is movable, and I'd say that you could build it up if you wanted to. It's definitely not a full coverage foundation, so if you want something that gives you a blank canvas, then this is not the foundation for you. It definitely does give like a dewy look, and I feel like it's quite, I don't know, like all radiance and stuff, but looking at the actual product when I put it on my hand, I cannot see any shimmers whatsoever, so it's definitely not shimmery. And I suffer with dry skin normally, apart from oiliness here and around here, but it's not clung to any dry skin. I don't have particularly bad skin today, like bad dry skin today, so I could see what it's like in a few days time, because I will give this like a week and I'll test it out every single day and see what I like, what I think is best to apply it, the pros and cons of this foundation, and yes, I'll see you again in a few weeks. So I have been using this foundation for 2 weeks now, so I think I can give you like a more in-depth kind of review. I've used it pretty much like 10 days out of the 14 days, and I can honestly say I really do like this foundation. To start off with, I have pretty dry skin apart from on my chin where it is very, very oily, so that's just my skin type, just before anyone asks. This retails for £5, but I got it for £3, and Superdrug are always doing deals on it, so always try and pick it up when it's £3. The first thing is, it is 35ml when a usual like drugstore foundation is around 30ml, so already you're getting 5ml more, which I think is fab, since this is like half the price of what usually they are. It has no SPF as I can see from like the internet and searching and stuff, which is not a problem for me, but if you're like in a sunny country or you're going away and you want to just use this, you'll have to obviously put an SPF underneath it. It's not a problem for me because I don't really particularly like SPF, and it's good for like flashback photography because it won't give you flashback. It says illuminating on it. Now I wouldn't say it is very, very illuminating, but I would say that it definitely has a dewiness to it. It definitely doesn't have sparkle in it. I've checked and checked, so it's not like the Wake Me Up foundation. If you like in that one you can see sparkles, when it's on your face it's fine, but like this one does not have sparkles in it at all. I usually wear my foundations for around 7 to 8 hours a day, and it really does work. I don't powder my skin, and by the end it has worn off like my chin. So if you have oily skin, you will definitely have to powder this foundation if you want it to last all day. But other than that, it is so good. I have used a number of ways to try and apply this just to see what's best for this foundation. I've tried the Real Techniques buffing brush, I've tried my fingers, and I've tried the Expert Face brush, and I find the Expert Face brush is the best. With my fingers, I just found it just didn't really get into the skin as well. I think you really do have to work this into the skin. It does come out very liquidy, so just bear in mind that. So it comes in very liquidy, but it does dry pretty easily. I would say this foundation is light buildable to medium coverage. I definitely have to have a concealer on it, and I usually do my whole face and then go back and add extra on my chin because that is my problematic area, and it does definitely cover it, but I always just go in with a concealer anyways. I would say this foundation probably isn't best suited to people that have oily skin just because it does wear off pretty easily on there. Unless you do want to powder it or you're just going for like a few hours somewhere, I think it would be totally fine with that. But if you do want a long lasting one, this is not for you. It only has 3 different colours in the range. I've got the medium one, like the middle one, and this one is okay for me now, but I usually have a bit of tan, and if I was a wee bit tanned, so this probably is not the best for rugally tan people. But yes, it does have a porcelain, I don't know how to say that word. It has a very, very light shade, which would be very good for people who have got pale skin, and I've heard that it can be quite hard for people to find really pale foundation. This is great for travel as it's a little tube and it can just be flung in, it can just be put in your handbag, and it like takes up very, very little space. If you are like a sucker for packaging, which I am, I must admit, I like the glass bottles and everything, then obviously it's not the prettiest of packaging. It does work, and for £3 what I paid, you really cannot go wrong with this foundation. So I do recommend everyone trying it at least like a few times and seeing for yourself if you like it. So yes, I definitely do love this foundation, and thanks for watching. Bye!